you hinted at it. The Colts are a playoff team, and they really were a playoff team 2 seasons ago when they had Andrew Luck too. So this is a team that has the core, and they have the core under contract for the next 2 years at least to win. To actually, I'm not capping when I say this. They have a core that could win. I think they have a core that could contend if they have the right quarterback. I don't think Phillip Rivers was the right quarterback to make them a contender, but if they had someone at the caliber of like an Andrew Luck, which I'm not saying that's like commonplace, obviously, but
Yeah, you don't. Andrew Luck's just don't
Andrew
fall off
Luck's don't
trees
grow on
every
trees.
day.
But this is a team that's one franchise quarterback away from contending. So, what are some options you think that could be out there for them, or they might consider?
Well, I know a lot of people were big on potentially Matt Ryan, then making a trade, bringing in Matt Ryan, but I don't think with Atlanta just bringing in Art Smith from Tennessee, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see I think Art Smith is going to unleash a version of Matt Ryan that a lot of people like. Don't get me wrong, Matt Ryan won an MVP. He might unleash MVP Matt Ryan. He very easily might with the way this guy was able to unleash Tannehill. And I'm not even going to bring up the AJ Brown thing because AJ Brown made the Pro Bowl with pretty much 2 meniscus tears in his knees. So I'm not going to get into that. Another one that I'm thinking of was a lot of people aren't big on Carson Wentz. A lot of people are not big on Carson Wentz to Indy. I think Carson Wentz would be good for them, though. I mean, think about it. He's a veteran. He does have a big contract, so we're gonna have to see what happens with that. They would have to make the numbers work, but I'd like to see Carson Wentz, dude. When Carson Wentz has a team around him, particularly at defense, dude, that defense in Indy is no joke. That they have a scary defense. With that kid Jonathan Taylor, who is the future in the backfield and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They got Hines and everything like that. I think. You know what? I personally, if I was Indy, I would look into potentially going out and getting Carson Wentz. I would go out and get Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I think Carson Wentz is the name that everyone's floating around as one they could get. The other names that I think that I'm floating around. This is like Adam Schefter hasn't said anything, but I think makes sense.
Did Orlovsky say it? But did Orlovsky say it?
No, Orlovsky definitely didn't say this because Orlovsky's still like on of the opinion that the Eagles should keep Carson Wentz. But
right,
I think that look at the other person in that quarterback room. No, not talking about Nate Sudfeld. I'm talking about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. People say that he didn't win those games, but he had a terrible football team, a stink of a football team. Those games until the end. It was a dumpster fire.
That was a dumpster fire too. I don't think really. I'll let you finish.
I'm not trying to absolve Carson Wentz of being bad or other players, but the thing people forget is that football team from top to bottom, offensive line, defense in general, defensive backs were just atrocious all season. So it wasn't just the quarterback situation, but to do what Jalen Hurts did in those games that he was there, I think that proved that he can play in the NFL. And what do the Colts have that the Eagles don't? A solid offensive line, a solid defense. They have the core. So if they were to make a trade for a quarterback, and I don't know what you would have to give up to the Eagles. That's the other thing. It's the other thing that plays into it. Would the Eagles give up Jalen Hurts, and what would you have to give to them? What do you think the price is for Jalen Hurts? Because the dude was a 3rd-round pick, but he's shown potential. But they also have this guy they're paying $100 million to in Carson Wentz in the same quarterback room. So if you're the Eagles, what do you do? Or do you just hold out and say, we're just going to keep our options open?
You might, if you're the Eagles, you might just do that. I mean, you could potentially dangle him out there. Mm-hmm. I don't know what kind of return Jalen Hurts would get because whatever deal they have in place is going to be scrutinized when you think about it. Whatever deal you have in place, people are going to look at it and people are either going to say that's too much you're giving up for Jalen Hurts or that's too little for a guy who's unproven, who did, even though he's unproven because he did appear in a bunch of games or a few games down the stretch and he didn't win. And even though he did, have individual success, he did have individual success in those games, he didn't really contribute that much to winning. Now, we can't necessarily point that all on Jalen Hurts because anybody who watched the last game of the season saw that team was blatantly trying to lose. So you can't
very blatantly trying to lose. It was so obvious.
You can't put that all on Jalen Hurts. So I personally don't know, just because, no matter what deal gets floated out there, it's going to get scrutinized. You're either giving up too much or too little for a guy who's unproven.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. For more content, please hit that notification bell, comment, subscribe, and everything like that. And just remember, keep it real.